Yeah, Andrew, this is LB Weaver. I have an account on YouTube, and I also have an account on Rumble. In fact, I have a full-blown channel on Rumble. So if and I talk up the Beatles, every now and then on it. I've made some videos, and I'm kind of speaking up for them on the Rumble channel because not a lot of people on who use Rumble actually do like the group. It's like they kind of slag me off, at first, before we all sort of got to know each other, and so now yeah, their business about I hate the Beatles. Well, that's just like okay, But anyway, so I talk them up, and I saw your video just now on recognition of Season of Glass and the Walking on Thin Ice single, lo, these many years later. And I was 17 when he was killed. I, of course, was devastated. It was quite possibly the first, celebrity death that had really gotten to me, because uh, but I'd missed having new albums of his, for the 5 year period, and anytime I'd ever read anything about him, mostly in the Inquirer, it shows what he's doing these days. So it says he's baking bread and on and on. And and I thought, well, screw that. When's he going to come back to the studio? Because Walls and Bridges and Rock and Roll, I love those two albums. Walls and Bridges being his masterpiece. I just kept, especially after he announced that he was returning to the studio and is bargaining with labels, which one's going to get it and on and on. I thought, yeah, I just pictured whatever this new album's going to be like. I thought, is it going to be like Walls and Bridges Part Two? Is he going to have the same look? I mean, he's obviously going to have the same voice and everything. And so what's it good? 'Cause I was really chuffed about picking that album up. I was a newspaper boy at the time, and there was a Sears store that had a record department in it, and it was just right down the street from where I went to school. So on my lunch break, I dashed over there. I'm going to get Double Fantasy tonight. Yeah, on December 8th it was. So I went. No, I'd gone to Sears and dashed up to the record department and looked around the L. Oh yeah, no, shit. It wasn't there, and I kind of settled for changes one Bowie. I mean, I love David Bowie, sure, but well, when you want a double fantasy, you have to get something else, and make it worth the trip. Uh, Fame collaboration or not, you know. And I then I said, well, I'll just ask for it for Christmas. It's no harm waiting a couple of more weeks. And then 10 o'clock that night is approximately when I heard about his shooting. I thought, well, he's going to be all right, isn't he? First thought that crossed everybody's minds, but sadly it wasn't. And yeah, that was horrific. And he's still missed. He's still very missed. To this day. It just hasn't really been. Nothing's really been the same since then. I mean, I'd hate to put him on a pedestal and think, well, I'd say, well, just his presence, is going to save the world. But back then, his presence was enough to save my own personal world, really. Because I'd gotten back into the Beatles by I gave them up for Kiss when I was younger. And okay, I still can't explain that, but so I gave them up for Kiss when I was younger, and then there was also the whole Saturday Night Fever, Grease, and then Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the movie. Okay, that was pretty horrible. And but the soundtrack, I'd gotten the soundtrack, and I thought, oh, I remember this song. I remember that. Okay, and then it dawns on me, that I kind of wish I was listening to the originals now. And that's when I snapped and got back into the Beatles again. And I've been a hardcore fan ever since. So, my heart was pounding when I heard that John was going back into the studio. It didn't matter whether she was with him or not. I thought, well, okay, I guess. Maybe she'll do some more screaming. And yeah, it was Double Fantasy was a great album. And then Milk and Honey. I liked Milk and Honey a bit better, to tell you the truth. It's kind of raw. It's like, it rocks a lot. It rocks a lot more. And it was, I don't know about this. Forgive me, my little flower princess. I don't know about that. That was kind of a clunker to me, but everything else on Milk and Honey was top notch. At least his songs were anyway. And, uh, and then I'd gotten the Walking on Thin Ice single, and this has been my whole point the entire time of this. But the Walking on Thin Ice single, I yeah, that's his work all over it. I mean, you can really tell. I mean, it's like even if you didn't know yourself, you just kind of suspect, because his guitar playing was way off the charts. And there was I think my favorite riff of his was, it was brought up after that line, and that poem she was reciting about the girl she knew, and that. I wonder if she knew about it. And then that guitar, his very last uh, his very last recorded, in his lifetime, I guess. I said that wrong completely. So please ignore that. His last guitar solo on a new single, and it was that. I love that guitar riff. Best thing about the whole single. But these days, after it was been remastered and it's all digital, it's a bit, you know, it doesn't sound as strong as it did on the original single. So that's a disappointment because I truly love that riff, and it was without knowing it, it was sort of his way of saying bonsoir. And yeah, it was truly, truly sad. So Walking on Thin Ice cannot be just another Yoko Ono single. I mean, it just truly cannot be. I get taken back there too when I hear it. And and that guitar solo really moves me still, 45 years later. Season of Glass, I had that as well. And uh, not all the tracks stand out. Not all the tracks are keepers, but they're, I think, well, two that I really love are uh, she gets down on her knees to throw up life, or whatever she's throwing up, and also yeah, I can't think of it. I don't know. It's morbid to say that I love No No No, but there's a hell of a guitar riff on that too. I don't know which one of the Double Fantasy musicians is playing that one, but that's a hell of a guitar riff too. I mean, like that to keep going on. The song is a bit too short, but yeah, it says No 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 is really something else. And she gets down on her knees, I think it's going to be my favorite track on there. The steamship opening, and it's sounds um, has a really eerie atmosphere to it, which I like. But anyway, Andrew, thanks for the great video. I watched it a couple of times, just so I could remember what you were talking about, so I could answer. And this is LB Weaver, and I'll be watching out for more stuff. I even go back and watch some of your old clips. I said, yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah, let me check that out again. That was fun.
But that's all for this one, so I'll say bye for now, and thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Oh my God, it was so terrible. No, it was. Finish your popcorn.